Cheers. Cheers, clear.
Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot.
Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. Were you calling me or Roger or Robert?
Oh, a very good morning to you. No, either or. I was just listening to the conversation, and I just heard you wrap up, and I was going to jump in and give either one of you a report. It's Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. The name is Mark, Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, just down in Sidcup in Kent, and you were both way over the 9, and I'm using an old TS-520S, and I just thought I'd give you a report. There was no one, as I say, individual. It's just whoever come back to me. M0 JCF listening.
Yeah, M0 JCF, M0 TRJ, Tango Romeo Juliet. Yeah, the operating name Simon, located in Bristol, and yeah, currently running 400 watts into an NFEG wire with a TS-520S, and I'm a white stick operator. But you're about a 5 and 9, 5 and 8, a little bit of QSB on you, but perfectly Q5 audio-wise. Sorry, I forgot the name. M0, I forgot the call sign now. Sorry, I can't write things down. What was it? No, I can't remember, sorry.
Simon, no problem whatsoever, mate. It's Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. So the name is Mark in Sidcup in Kent. Yeah, no, you're giving me a lovely signal, mate. 5 and 9 plus 10 peaking, but I would say it's a good solid 5 and 9 plus 5 now. And your man in Norfolk, G4TUK, he was also, as I say, solid 5 and 9, sometimes nudging just over as well. But yeah, today I'm using the old TS-520S. Just looking at the power meter, it's about 120, 125 watts into also an end-fed wire, but it's just a random wire. It's a 90-foot long wire, and I've got a 9-to-1 unun on it, and then coax into the shack, which is in my garage. It's where I keep all my old heavyweights. I say the TS-520S, FT101ZD, Swan 350, and a bunch of other old valve radios from like pretty much the 60s. So it just, you were both giving me a lovely, lovely signal on 40 metres. And I just thought I'd come back to you. And it's quite funny because one of my work colleagues is also called Simon and also lives in Bristol. But to be honest, you haven't quite got the accent that he's got. He's got a proper, you know, what we know as the Bristol accent, which is what all the pirates imitate, apparently. Back to you.
Roger, Mark, no worries. Yeah, well, I'm not from these parts. I don't know if you heard, but I used to live in Norfolk. And I had to move down here with medical problems, but yeah, so yeah, all copied. But you're doing wonderful on that, wonderful on that. Do you have a counterpoise or radio on your 9-to-1 over?
Say that again. Sorry, I just missed the very last query.
Yeah, on your 9-to-1 unun, what counterpoise or radio system do you run?
Oh, sorry, yeah, I thought that's what you was asking, and what caught me was I'm thinking radials. No, I haven't. It's just an earth, an earth rod, just a single earth. So it's a 90-foot wire in an inverted U. So it's got some vertical elements at both ends, and then the unun, the earth side, literally goes into an earth rod. So I'm very, very lazy when it comes to HF antennas. The long wire, I've always had a long wire since 1974 when I built my first crystal set and discovered shortwave listening. I've always had a long wire up. And when I got my M6 4 or 5 years ago, I had just literally utilised a wire that I've got in my house and put the unun on it, and that's the way it's always been. As I say, I'm not a big antenna fan. I'm not so much with a VHF, UHF. I've got the beams and verticals, etc. for VHF, UHF, but when it comes to HF, I'm just a very, very lazy man. So it's one day I should at least upgrade it to a dipole cut for a certain band, but I've got to get off my backside for that one there, Simon. Back to you.
Inverted view touching the ground at the far end, away from the unun, or is it up in the sky? Because which was touching ground, so to speak, at the far end of the wire, where you needed to use an electrolytic capacitor to earth, and that worked extremely well for a short time until I got it destroyed by a gale one night. I forgot to take it down and ripped it to pieces, so I could never get it to work again. But yeah, I think I had a 15 kilovolt 300 picofarad or microfarad capacitor at the end of the use, something like that, but that was then just into the earth, and that worked extremely well. But yeah, it's amazing that you're getting out so well with an earth rod, because there's a lot of speculation on 9-to-1s, whether you should run a counterpoise, i.e. A wire above earth, or a radial system. I've never had luck running a 9-to-1 into earth. Always counterpoise, and this antenna I've got here is a 5-to-1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-to-1, unknown, with a 60-foot wire and a 60-foot counterpoise, and that's how that antenna came about. An American guy invented it, and it works extremely well for me, so I'm quite happy with that. M0JCF, M0TRJ.
Yeah, Mike 0, Tango Romeo Juliet, Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot returning. Well, it's interesting you mentioned that about counterpoises, etc. You know, the U shape for a start is just a case of getting as much wire in the sky as I could. So the unun is by the back garage door. It's at just over head height, so about 7 feet maybe above ground. So then you've got the vertical that goes up onto a pole, onto my upstairs extension. It's just a wooden pole with a bungee and a dog bone. The wire then goes down the garden. Now I've got an 85-foot garden, and it doesn't quite make it to the end of the garden, because at the end of the garden was a very tall tree that every year I cut the top off of. That's got a pole on it. The wire goes to that, and then just to get some more wire in the sky, as I say, this was for crystal sets and shortwave listening, etc. I just and the wire originally comes straight into the garage, but the wire just comes down vertical to about, I would say, about 6 or 7 feet off the ground. Now I was actually going to go down, you know, the lines of a beverage type of construction, and I was going to put either a 300 or 600 ohm resistor terminated to earth at the far end. I just didn't get round to it. It was just one of those things, you know, I'd considered it. I mean, obviously it wasn't going to be a true beverage because, you know, A, it wouldn't have had the length, and B, it's about 25 feet off the ground on the horizontal section. And, you know, beverages are quite close to the ground. So I had that idea, and I heard that would reduce a lot of the noise you get inherent in long wire systems. But I just couldn't find or make up a resistor big enough, you know, for the power limits. I wanted obviously a couple of 100 watts there on the resistor, and the idea was to just get loads and loads of big carbon resistors. Probably like like a series parallel bunch, and make up a big 200 watt resistor. I did also think of using nichrome wire and all sorts, but then you start adding reactances and all sorts, you know, because you know you're making up a coil, then you got to biffle wind it to counteract it, you know, and I told you I'm lazy, so it was too much work. The other thing that I did consider was actually running a wire a parallel, maybe a few inches off the ground, a parallel to the horizontal section. But that would mean, see, my wire, primarily it runs down the fence line, so I could get away with it. But as we get to the garage, it sort of comes in slightly and then runs across the patio before it gets to the garage door, which meant I would have had this wire there. I did consider going from my earth rod and, you know, and zigzagging the wire around. It would just, it's something that I can experiment with in the future, but at this moment in time, I don't know, I'm quite happy with the wire that I'm using. Obviously, you know, it's not perfect by any shake of a lamb's tail, but you know, I've had good contacts, regular contacts as well, into South Africa, North America, South America, places like that. I've heard many times of VK, etc., but not managed to get back to them. Now, whether that's the antenna, the conditions, I don't know, but you know, it's very much a compromised antenna. So if I'm going on the upper bands, 10, 12, etc., then I've used a resonant antennas, vertical antennas for that. You know, I mean, I think most people have. They've taken a CB 5/8 wave antenna and just shortened it slightly, and you know, and I've had great results with that. The only other thing is I've got here in the box behind me in the garage a Diamond CP6 that I bought last year from someone. It came, their dad was Silent Key many years ago, and it had never got put up, so I just bought it off him. So it's a multi-band trapped vertical, you know, with radials and trapped radials, etc. So at some point I'll probably get that up and do a comparison between the two. But yeah, it's a whole minefield, isn't it? Antennas, especially wire antennas and random wire antennas and that, and many things that you can do. I just, as I say, I'm just antenna lazy. I'm more of a restorer of these old radios and a home brewer of, you know, like regenerative receivers, stuff like that, rather than, you know, concentrate on the antenna. Hence, I'm very, very happy to be talking to someone short skip on 40 metres in Bristol than trying to beat a pile up for somebody on some South Sea island or something like that. You know, I'm not an active DXer as such. I'll take the DX if it's there, but I'm not an active DXer. That long ramble over, I'll hand it back to you there, Simon. M0 TRJ, M0 JCF.
Superbly well. I haven't got an issue with your signal, your audio or anything, so I wouldn't touch it, I wouldn't put anything onto it, wouldn't move it, just leave it as it is, and cross your fingers that you don't get any gales that knock it down, because that's what ruined my inverted U. But yeah, I mean, I must admit, when I had the inverted U with the capacitor on it, it worked really well, and the noise was quite low. But I have to be honest, I think it's all to do with location as well, because back in Great Yarmouth, even with a good antenna, my background noise on 40 metres was at least an S7. That was the lowest it would ever be, but normally around an S8 or S9, because of the docks and all the noise we've got in Great Yarmouth with different communication systems, Coast Guards, the like. But down here, my background noise on 40 metres is an S2, even with a wire antenna. So I'm not touching it. It's staying as it is. It works. Thank you very much. And I'm like you, I love the X. I do love the X, don't get me wrong, but I won't sit with a pile up trying to work someone. I'd rather hunt around, find someone who's just calling and no one's heard, and put a shout out to see if I get them. My friend does the same, in fact, point of question, who said to me this week, or would be last week now, that I think it was Wednesday, he went on 10 metres, he was scaring through 10 metres, and he suddenly heard Foxtrot Yankee, French Guiana, calling SSB, no one going back to him, so he put a call out. The guy said, oh, thank God there's someone out there. You know, so it pays to hunt around and find these people, I've always said. But there we go. Anyway, I'm going to have a cup of tea. My voice is getting rather raspy. I've been on for a while. So it's been great talking to you, Mark. It really has. And if you hear me, give me a shout. And likewise, if I hear you, I'll give you a shout in the future. M0JCF, M0TRJ. Listening for your final, I'm going to say 7-3.
M0TRJ, M0JCF, returning for that final, Simon. Absolute pleasure to speak to you, mate. As you noticed, sometimes what I do is exactly what I did this time. I just wait for both stations to say they're going QRT. Sometimes they both go QRT. Sometimes it's one and one will QRZ or whatever, or start CQing. But I always take that opportunity to jump in thinking, hey, had they both immediately hit the off switch? Never happens, does it? No one hits the off switch. Everyone listens for at least 30 seconds just in case. And as you say, a bit of DX comes in. I'm more of a CQer. You will find me CQing more often than not, especially on these old radios. You'll find me on 40 or 80 metres CQing, and 10 metres. You'll find me on more modern gear, especially CQing. And yeah, just before Christmas, I had some good results CQing 10 metres. I had Namibia and South Africa come back to me, you know, and that's always nice when those countries, you know, that DX comes back to you CQing. That there is good DX. I like that. As I say, it's nice to go back to somebody calling, but you know, when you get that reply, whether it's near or far, there's always an inherent excitement in it, you know, especially when you hear an accent where you know where that accent is, but or you know the region, you know, it could be Botswana, South Africa, Namibia, etc., and then bang, you know, you get them in there, and then of course it's a case of getting a rapport. And as you say, you know, you say to these people, you know, this is the equipment I've got. Thanks for coming back to me. And if you hear me again, come back to me again. You know, don't be a stranger. Anyway, I'll let you go and get that cup of tea. I think I'm probably going to go QRT as well. I'm going to take my wife out to lunch in about 1 o'clock. But I'm just going to go out and do a few odd jobs, etc. before then. So all the very best to you, mate. Take care. And yeah, I understand there about the accent as well, as to why you haven't got that proper what we call a pirate accent from that neck of the woods. But having said that, you haven't quite got the Norfolk accent either, have you? Which is got that similar country twang, I'd say. One of my nephews is now living in Norwich with his wife and children. Well, he went to Norwich University and just stayed there years ago, and they bought a house up there, etc. And I'm just waiting for the day that he starts sounding like a farmer. But we'll leave that for a conversation for another day. Take care, mate. Best 73, and bye-bye for now. M0TRJ, M0JCF. 73s, mate. Bye-bye.
Yeah, exactly. DR there. They got light, boy. That's right, boy. Yeah, that's right. You talk proper when you come up to Norfolk. Oh, dear.
No, it's all right. My nephew can breathe underwater now.
Right. Right, that'd be there if you're going up Norfolk, but then if I spark Norfolk, you wouldn't understand me, would you there, Mark?
No, probably not. As I say, my nephew can breathe underwater now.
There you are, see. It's web treat as well. Oh dear, Robert's been listening. Maybe he'll give you a signal report as well. Anyway, I'm going for a cup of tea. I'll catch you both later.
Yeah, cheers, mate, and thanks for the light-hearted bit at the end as well. It's always good, and no offence was taken. G4IU, I think it was G4IUK. Robert, are you still on frequency?
Yeah, morning. Golf 4 Tango, uniform kilowatt. Yeah, I did, because I must confess I did go and have a word with the XIL and have a cup of tea, so I haven't heard it all. Just Mark, isn't it? So I haven't heard it all, but I just couldn't resist that bit at the end about avoid target properly, you know, you've got to learn it. That's what they say, but I shan't go on here, don't start me on that one. There we are. Anyway, you're 5 and 9, Mark. I think you said you're in a Sid Cup. I did just hear the engine, so I did speed off, put the kettle on. And, you know, very nice audio. So anyway, I shan't hold it, but just thought I'd come in at the end, give you a report anyway. Running an IC7610 by Icon in your resonant half-wave dipole for this band, Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Fox, Golf 4 Tango, Uniform Kilo, with the group. Go ahead.
Yeah, G4 TUK M0 JCF. Cheers for that, Rob. Yeah, what I did was I'd written your call sign down when you were both talking, but then I sort of emphasised Simon's call sign when he come back to me, and it sort of obliterated your call sign. So I've got you. I keep a paper logbook. I'm old school like that. But yeah, 5 and 9 to me. A little bit of QSB dropping you to about 5 and 7. But when you were talking to Simon earlier, I mean, you was easy. 10 overs, 15 over, etc. And you know, it's 40 meters has been like that the last couple of weeks. There's been a couple of S-point swing, but you know, it's so long as it's reliable, good comms, it doesn't really matter. The radio I'm using, you may already have heard, I'm using an old Trio TS-520S. Just looking at the power meter, it's around 90 watts at the moment. I think it's getting a bit tired. When I was talking to Simon, it was about 110, 115, maybe 120 watts. But these long overs, I think the valves are getting tired. I have actually got spares, but I think these valves are getting tired. I've noticed I'm having to increase the plate current slightly now to get more power. But you know, at the end of the day, there's between 90 watts and 120 watts. I mean, there's absolutely no difference, I'm sure, your end. But I do notice, because I ramble, and I do ramble a lot, that the power does start to drop off after a bunch of long overs on this old radio. But yeah, 90-foot long wire, I'm sure you heard all of that. And that's it. That's all there is to tell you, mate. 5 and 9, good signal, great audio. Back to you there, Robert. G4 TUK M0 JCF.
Yeah, GFI, G4 TUK. Yeah, there is someone a little bit LFW, which is causing a little bit of splatter now. The frequency isn't as clear when we were on with Simon earlier on, but getting towards midday, so you'd expect that on 40 metres. I was just going to say, if you're into old radio, old kit, if you I mentioned this to Simon, if you look on the British Amateur Television Club website, batc.org.uk, and look for the streamer at 7:30, the Norfolk Amateur Radio Club are doing a little bit, its members are doing featuring retro tech, old radios, old telephones, old anything really that's vaguely related to radio. So if you've got the internet, just look on the British Amateur Television site at 7:30 Wednesday evening, 7:30 Wednesday evening. And I'd say that's retro technology night, so you never know what's turn up there. That might be of interest to you, T-Mark, that was all. What you don't well, I think Simon's got to go, I'll have to go as well. Simon's got out here now, so that probably means that if we have to go up to do all sorts of chores which we have to do last week, so that's any excuses for that rain. And cold as well, so I think my luck's going to run out today. Hi, Mark. Well, just pass it over to you, and then if you want to pass it to Simon, I'll sign on this over. Zero Julie Charlie Fox with the group. G4 TUK Norfolk,
Yeah, G4 TUK M0 JCF in company with M0 TRJ. Yeah, your signal amazingly dropped from 5 and 9 to a 5 and 2 on that over. Literally fell off the cliff. But you know, it's crazy because the next over you'd probably be back up again. But yeah, I see my power is also dropping off. So maybe it's my radio. My power is dropping now to about 70 watts. So I think it's time for me to give it a rest now and turn it off. I did say to Simon I'd be going, but I wish you best 73. Thanks for coming back to me. Thanks for the reports and the brief chat. Enjoy the rest of Sunday, the pair of you, and I look forward to catching up with you again. The batc.org.uk, I've got that noted down in my paper logbook, and I will check that out. I belong to the Cray Valley Radio Society here in northwest Kent, southeast London, and one of our members is very, very keen in the amateur television. G8YTZ, Justin, he's very, very big in the amateur TV, and he's done some excellent talks on it as well, but not so much retro. You know, he's obviously more up to date kit, etc. I think you know, it's his forte, it's his thing, and he's obviously stuck with it through thick and thin over the years. Okay, chaps, as I say, I am known for rambling and waffling on and taking 20 minutes to say goodbye, so I'll make this my final as well. I'll hand it round to Simon just in case he's there, but I don't expect him to be, and if nobody comes back, I'll leave the frequency clear for anyone who wants to use it. Okay there, Robert, take care, mate, and 73 to the family also. Over to M0TRJ if you're still around to say goodbye, otherwise I'll leave it at that. M0JCF going clear. Yeah, thanks for that, and thanks for that revised report. Excellent. M0JCF is now clear. This frequency is clear for use.